Hi, Rebel Teacher Network. I am here today to share something that I think is really important for us as teachers, because it's something that I didn't do for a long time as a teacher, and now as a coach, it makes so much sense to me, and I just wish I'd known this sooner. So, what I want to share about is how, as teachers, we are so good at using language and questioning and kind of the way that we get our students to think. We have so many skills in that sense, but what I wasn't doing as a teacher was applying that to myself and how I spoke to myself in my own mind. And so what I want to talk to you about today is give you a few tips of things that you can do to help yourself feel more empowered. And of course you can use these with your students as well, but are you applying them to yourself and your self-talk? Because that's really important. So the first part of the self-talk I want to focus on is whether you are thinking and talking to yourself in the negative or in the positive. So what I mean by that is, if you say, the classic example for me in working in a school was if I said to a child, don't run, they're probably going to run. Whereas if I say walk, I'm giving them the positive of what I want them to do, and they were more likely to walk. Not always, that, not all children will do that. But generally, if I say don't run, that wasn't as effective as walk. And it's the same principle now. For yourself, what are you telling yourself? If you're saying things to yourself like, I want to be less stressed, I need to be less stressed, I need to stop stressing, I need to be, I'm too disorganised, I'm never getting stuff done, I'm never getting stuff done on time, whatever it is you're saying. But if you're focusing on those negatives, your mind is looking for those negatives and it's looking to confirm them. So if you keep telling yourself, I want to be less stressed, your mind is looking for stress. Unconsciously, you won't realise you're doing this, but it's looking for stress, and it's kind of confirming that word that you're putting into your mind. It's confirming stress, it's finding stress, it's maybe even creating stress in a way that you hadn't even noticed that it was. So if you then tell yourself, rather than I want to be less stressed, if you can tell yourself something like, I want to be more organised, or I want to feel more purposeful, or I want to feel calmer. If you put those words into your mind, again, your mind does the hard work and it starts to find those things and create those things for you. So just as you would with your students, think about the way that you're talking to yourself, and are you talking to yourself in a negative sense or in a positive sense? The second thing that I want to share, and this is something that I know as teachers we do so well with our students, but I really found that I was lacking this with myself, and it was about compassion in the way that I spoke to myself. So, for example, if a child said to me, oh miss, I've made a mistake, I would never have said something like, I would never have said, well, yeah, of course you've made a mistake, because you're stupid. Of course you're going to make a mistake. You're probably going to fail at other things. You should probably just give up now. I would have said that. And probably the thought of that is kind of making your blood run cold, that you would say that to a child or a student. But the point is, as much as I knew that and I knew how detrimental that would be, I think there were times when I was saying that kind of thing to myself. So when I was making a mistake, I'd think, I should have known better. Yeah, I should. Of course I made a mistake. It's because I'm not good enough. It's because I've made a mistake and I'm going to make more mistakes. I'm going to fail. People think I'm a failure. I should give up. I was kind of thinking all these things. And obviously, just like I would with a student, if I said that to someone in my class, that's totally going to demotivate them. So why did I think it was going to motivate myself? The same with, if a student was struggling, I would tell them to ask for help. Tell someone. Ask someone for help. Tell them that you're struggling. But when I was sometimes struggling as a teacher, I would have a thought of, I can't ask for help because people will know that then I'm struggling and then they're going to think less of me. And that's not what I would say to someone else. So what are you saying to yourself, and is it what you would say to someone else? And I think as teachers we know so well the impact of our language and the impact of the way we talk to our students, so we can then apply that to ourselves and show ourselves some compassion. And the third thing, which is kind of, again linked to both of those, is about the questions that we ask. And again, as teachers, we are probably one of the, I don't have any data on this, but one of the professions that probably ask the most questions. It's a major part of our work, is asking questions, and we know the power of asking the right questions. So if you ask yourself what I would say is a disempowering question, if you ask yourself something like, why me? Or why is this so hard? Why can't I do it? If you ask yourself questions like that, again, like my first example, your mind is going to look for examples of that. So if you're constantly asking yourself, why is this so hard? Your mind is going to find the answers for you. It's going to find all the reasons why it is so hard. And it's going to find all the reasons why you can't do it and all the reasons that are getting in your way. And whilst you might think, well, that's useful to know why I'm finding something hard, I think there is something in that, you know, asking those questions. But if you're constantly asking questions like that, that's the answers you're going to find. So instead, you could ask yourself a question like, how could I make this easier? And then your mind's going to do the hard work for you. So when you're driving home from work, when you're falling asleep, when you're having a cup of tea in the morning, whatever question you've asked subconsciously, your mind is kind of doing some work to answer it. So if you want to ask yourself, how can I make this easier? I think you might find more useful answers than why is this so hard? And so just as we know as teachers, it's about asking the right questions and asking the powerful questions. And so just consider the questions that you're then asking yourself. Because as I keep saying, as teachers, I think we know so much of this. We know the power of our language. We know the power of our questions. We know the way that we can reframe things to help students in so many different ways. But then we don't always apply that to ourselves. So just 3 ways there that you can change your self-talk and how that might impact you. And of course, you can filter that out and you can use that in your classes or with your students as well. But I really think that focusing on the language we use for ourselves and that we use in our own minds is really powerful. So I hope that's helpful, and I'll be back soon with some more insights on something. See you soon.